A few hundred meters as the crow flies from Calais, near the Gardon, lies an exceptional site where this universal human need to believe in something greater than ourselves was expressed for millennia. For relatively recent science like evolutionary psychology, religion answers several fundamental human needs, giving meaning to the world, easing the anguish of death, strengthening group cohesion, framing behavior, sustaining hope in the face of misfortune, and satisfying the brain's natural tendency to see intention behind events. It was within this psychological framework that people walked this path for thousands of years. About 20,000 years ago, people decorated the walls of the Abbé Bayol cave, named after this leading self-taught prehistorian who was also parish priest of Calais between 1914 and 1950. It was during this time, in November 1927, that he discovered paintings in the Aurignacian style. After this long Paleolithic episode, the small valley continued to be frequented, as shown by traces of a Gallic sanctuary probably linked to the spring, intermittent today but once permanent, that cascades down at the bottom of the valley. This episode remains poorly understood. Among the peoples of Gaul, a spring was seen as a surge of the earth's vital force, often associated with mother goddesses or healing deities. Votive objects were deliberately broken there to render them unusable. Ancient texts mention human sacrifices by drowning for the god Tutatis, but archaeology points mainly to an idea of purification and self-offering through the substitute object left behind. A Gallo-Roman sanctuary then succeeded the Gallic religious complex, without really disrupting the site's uses. The most recent and rigorous study identifies here a sanctuary dedicated to a local deity named Aramo, probably linked to water, associated in the local pantheon with Jupiter and Minerva. Another altar, dedicated to Jupiter by the Coriogenses or Coriosienses, also attests to the site's cultural vitality. This name designates a local indigenous tribe in which one can see the origin of the place name Calais. Probably without any real break in the site's use, Christianity then took hold in the valley with the arrival of a hermit who, according to pious tradition, would go on to become Bishop of Avignon, Saint Veradem, in the 7th century. As was often the case, the Christian religion absorbed older practices while adding its own, so as to gradually bring pagan populations into the new faith. The site developed in the 11th century with the construction of a Romanesque chapel, later rebuilt in the 19th century after it had fallen into ruin. The nearby hamlet of Laval and the village of Calais drew significant numbers of visitors to the site, where people came to hear Mass, where processions ended, and where pilgrims passed through. The pattern observed at Notre-Dame de Primecombe, near Aubais, sheds useful light on what may have happened at Calais. Hermits tasked with guarding the sanctuary, seasonal pilgrimages, notably to pray for rain, and confraternal processions. The presence of hermits fits within the eremitic revival that swept across Languedoc in the 17th and 18th centuries. In a diocese of Nimes deeply marked by religious conflict, the occupation of former pilgrimage sites by solitary hermits was in fact part of a strategy of Catholic reconquest, following the abandonment of many sites during the Wars of Religion. The last hermit was Brother Louis Maillon, who died at Calais in 1839. After him, the site was gradually reclaimed by vegetation until Abbé Bayol excavated it and unearthed numerous Gallo-Roman objects, now held at the Musée de la Romanité. A first association, the Amis du Patrimoine de Collia et de la Sauvegarde de l'Environnement, was founded on 17 August 1979, with publication in the Journal officiel on 26 October 1979. Led first by Mademoiselle Suzette Sadag and then by Bernard Perrier. with support from the Conseil Général du Gard and local integration work programs. It undertook the clearing of the chapel and the consolidation of the buildings. In 1984, the association was awarded third prize in the National Monuments Historiques competition.